Monday's done. How about that? Monday came, it saw, it did its thing, and then it disappeared. So for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere who haven't experienced your Monday yet, I'm just letting you know it's going to go fast, real fast, damn fast, all the fast. How has your weekend been? I am going to admit that I spent a lot of my weekend in my pajamas, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I did end up with a bit of a flare-up, which I am so not surprised about given the week I had last week. So it's good to know that my diagnosis is still correct and that stressors are still a major cause of problems when it comes to living with an autoimmune disease like rheumatoid arthritis. Hello to the two people who are on the call today who I actually can't see at the moment. So yay. But what was super exciting for me over the weekend was watching people sign up for the Entrepreneurial Clinician online learning community. Watching the people who were excited and just saying, yes, I want in, and then me going, oh, this is actually cool. So thank you to those who have said, yes, I want to be in. A couple of people have asked me some questions. I've responded. I'm looking forward to getting that up and running. So the Facebook group has now been created, and those of you who have joined will be receiving another email from the people who make the technology work for me, sharing with you how you can actually access that. But don't worry, there won't be any live calls until I've got you in the group. Oh, people, you've all arrived. Linda, hello. Priscilla, hello. Priscilla, you're still around. I thought you might have been on vacation. It's lovely to see you're awake. Time zone changes. Are they stuffing you up or something? Well, I wrote a post this morning after I'd finished yoga. It was interesting. I had a really good session, a yoga session today, but I was in a really reflective mood, and I was reflecting on how I've learnt and how I've needed to learn to trust myself and trust my gut, and what that actually means. And it's such a difficult thing to actually define, because I think trusting your gut comes from experience, and it's not until you've had some experience that you can feel like you can trust your gut. And those of us who like to say my gut says this, my gut says that, I think it's a learned behavior. But then I could be completely wrong. So I had a sense this morning. I was like, yes, there were some really big things that went down in my week last week. So one of those things would have been pretty big and would have been enough to make me want to roll around on the floor in my pajamas. But 5 or 6 of them, that was enough. I was feeling like on the weekend, and I did really well to not work, and well, I couldn't. I did the sleeping. I finished a book, and I almost started another one, which I loved. I got to watch a rugby game, which I found so incredibly boring. Just letting you know, the World Cup rugby final was boring. The thing about rugby, here's the sports update for everybody, is when it's played at that level, when you've got the All Blacks or England and South Africa playing, because these are the best teams in the world, they play a really technical game, and there's not much life in it. It's like watching a game of maths, really. I just found it boring. However, we did have a T20 game, which is cricket, being played against Australia and Sri Lanka yesterday afternoon, that my husband and I were enjoying together until it got rained out. So that was pretty boring. So then we found something on Netflix. So we actually watched Netflix. Yes, we watched Netflix, not the other thing that the young people say. But in my reflectiveness this morning, oh, Kate, hello. Hey, Grandma Kate. Awesome, Grandma Kate. I was thinking about how we get sideswiped by things. And for many of us, when events happen and we're not prepared for them, we all have different ways of reacting. Now, I like to be in control. In fact, if I'm not in control, I can be mean, nasty, and rude. But not everybody needs to be or experience as much feeling in control as what I do. But if I continue to live in a place where I'm trying to control everything all the time, it actually stifles my creativity and stops me from being able to engage with people. It actually stops me from being interrelating. But some people, when they are sideswiped or have a stressful event happen or an unexpected event happen, they go to this place of needing to be liked. And I think this is why we see a lot of people posting a lot on social media or needing to speak to a lot of people, trying to get affirmation and that sense of connection. I want to be liked. I want to know that I'm not alone. I want to know that I've got people around me. And I think it's really important that we understand these behaviors, particularly when they're with our team members or business partners or life partners or children. Because it's so easy to go to an over-controlling person, stop it, you're being annoying, which only makes us want to be more controlling. To a person, and then a person who might be wanting lots of connection to feel safe and secure and connected and loved, going, please go away, you're being needy. It's actually reinforcing all of the things that make us feel unsafe in the first place. There are some other people who feel this sense of a loss of security, so they'll do anything and everything to make themselves feel safe. They will go back to rules. They will go back to, well, this is what we agreed to. They'll go back to, this is why the way we used to always do everything. Why would we change now? And that can become tedious, or it can become, hey, hang on a minute, why are you so focused on the past when I'm trying to get us into the future? But it's a way of feeling safe. It's like having that kid's blanket that you had when you were a kid thrown over you to help you go, hey, there's change or there's discomfort going on here and I don't like it and I don't want it. And then there are others who just need to be right, that their sense of security and safety and the way they cope in a stressful situation is to know that they're right and that they've done everything right and everything right all of the time and all of the things are right all of the time. And that can be quite abrasive and like my needing to be in control, it can come across as gruff and uncaring and rude. But I think it's time that we all learn to read these behaviors with a little bit of detachment. Number one, I think we need to get better as leaders in our businesses in understanding our own limitations. We are going to have stressful events come to us. We cannot avoid stress. We just can't. And actually a good level of stress is healthy. But what we can do is become better at interpreting the behaviors around us so that number one, we don't feel so bruised or harassed or bullied by them. We can put them firmly back where they need to be, but also, so my cup nearly went all over me. So we can develop language that allows it to not be about them or us, but it allows it to be about the thing in the middle. So it stops personalizing everything so much. And I think this is really, really difficult for mental health professionals because we're so good at going so deep with our clients, usually for a long period of time, that coming up and getting perspective out here, like looking over here from a bigger perspective or from a more, I guess, having more space between the issues can sometimes be difficult because we're so good, and what makes us so good as clinicians is getting down to the minutiae and allowing thoughts to sit with feelings, to sit with consequences. So after I'd written that post this morning, I was kind of like, that's interesting that that's come up today, and interesting that it's come up for me in a yoga class, which was a great class. But you know what? Within 20 minutes, there was an event that sideswiped me. And I do not want to go into details to that today. That's not the point of this. The point is, I had no clue it was coming, but I know that my preferred or my usual methods of behavior right now are not going to bless the people around me. So the best thing I can do is communicate that to the others. I am going to be a little stressed. I may be a little emotional. I need your help to stay focused on the next task. If I am being inappropriate, please make me a cup of coffee. If you think that I am being rude or I haven't spoken to somebody politely, please pull me up on that because I'm not trying to do it. And I think the more that we learn to have these types of conversations with those around us, the key people around us, the more it will lift us as leaders and allow us to actually experience the types of success, engagement in relationships, and it will allow the people that are supporting us to rise up and actually support what it is that we're doing. It requires us to be vulnerable. Just thought I'd put you out there. And I'm not talking about wearing your heart on your sleeve and sharing all the details with everyone right now. But I do want you to start looking out for these types of behaviors. People who are talking about, I can't lose control. People who are going, I need to be liked. People going, I need to feel safe. And people going, I have to be right. Start looking at those behaviors and interpreting those behaviors and just ask a different question because it's not the presenting issue. You're all health professionals, you know how to look at issues that are not presenting issues. If you haven't joined the entrepreneurial clinician community yet, why not? Just asking. We have a foundation membership price happening for November. I'm not going to talk about that now. I'll put a link on the video later today. So until tomorrow, go be your awesome self.